Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show. The Predator, like a reef in a storm, stood still beside Su Yan. How bad the fighting situation is, it will not make them afraid. Su Yan said lightly. I haven't moved my muscles and bones for a long time, and I won't have to do it with a few of you from now on. The number of enemies is more than 1,000, so you can't despise each other. Hehe, no matter how many wastes gather together, it can't change their attributes as wastes. Afterwards, a faint light radiated from his palm, condensing strength to deal with emergencies. The god-level sign-in system gives Su Yan countless benefits, and the force value is naturally not a problem. When the encirclement was reduced to a certain extent, the leader of the transformation team made a gesture to stop advancing. He walked towards Su Yan with his bare hands and swaggeringly. The order of the Guardian Star 093 is to catch the survivors, and the team's actions will be more and more careful. Su Yan, you are so bold. Don't think that leading the Longing fleet will be able to spread wild on all planets. Many powerful forces and races are beyond your imagination. To avoid the pain of flesh and blood, do you still need to see bloodlight? The captain's attitude was extremely arrogant. His confidence came from the thousands of transformed human warriors behind him. Su Yan showed a look of disdain, with both palms facing directly in front of him. He could shoot through the sky. The force that spewed out was formed in the air, and the water ripples were ruthlessly crushed in all directions. It is hard to imagine that in his thin body, the attacking momentum of the stormy waves can break out. The taciturn Bai Ying is the strongest around Su Yan. She increased the speed to the extreme, leaving countless afterimages, and rushed to the captain. In his eyes, there was a gloomy radiance of Lin Lin, and at the same time, he released the impact of his ability to think. Buzzing. Buzzing. The captain, together with the dozens of transformed human warriors around him, felt an inexplicable roar in his mind. A brief state of unconsciousness is a fatal flaw. Bai Ying's palm patted them lightly. There is no tragic scene of blood, and the power is directly detonated in the internal organs through the muscles. When these people fell to the ground unconsciously and turned into cold corpses, the transformed human warriors not far away finally realized that something was wrong. Also, as a woman, Lin Qingyue, who had no power to tie a chicken, was particularly envious of Bai Ying's fighting ability. She stood not far away and sneered. He, now you should have a deep understanding of who is the one who doesn't know whether to live or die. Don't think that with some metal equipment on your body, you can be invincible all over the world. The flesh and blood part is the Achilles heel. 99. Lin Qingyue's ruthless words made these transformation warriors unable to help but look down at their bodies. Man-made bodies are not 100% covered in metal, otherwise they wouldn't be called cyborgs. For ordinary parts of the attack, it can produce a spike effect. After a brief silence, the vice-captain of the team raised the laser knife in his hand and shouted. First, make all the people around Su Yan into meat sauce, and the rest will be easy. No one is allowed to back down, or they will be severely punished by military law. Charge immediately. 99. Thousands of troops attacked the target, all locked on the people around Su Yan. The dazzling light emitted by the weapon is brighter than the surrounding flames. Before the enemy approached, Bai Ying's speed of action increased again. Countless afterimages were like a human wall, surrounding Su Yan airtightly. Shh. The knife light that flew up and down always brushed past Bai Ying's body, not even touching her clothes. In Bai Ying's eyes, there is no way for these rabble to take advantage of their numbers. Instead, they will interfere with each other's sight line and affect their actions. The lightning-fast chaotic fist erupted in an instant, and although her figure disappeared into the smoke, the murderous aura emanating from her body became more and more vigorous. Su Yan watched the battle situation from the sidelines, without any worries. He used his technical watch to contact the command room of the Hyperion. Isn't Orion's main battle fleet planning to attack? Why is the sky so quiet? 35. The other party has really drawn a distance, maybe they want to rely on the ground team to win this battle. Did the Iron Man fleet and the Libra Empire fleet appear? I haven't entered the detection range of the radar for the time being. Do you want to contact the reconnaissance ship of the Libra Empire for intelligence synchronization? Forget it, we will meet here sooner or later. Su Yan still has some confidence in Descartes, the regional commander of the Libra Empire. The other party has recognized the threat of Iron Man and will take it seriously. Everyone on the battleship was even more nervous than Su Yan, hoping to join the battlefield and destroy the enemy. It's a pity that I didn't wait for the relevant order. As the saying goes, catch the thief first, catch the king. Bai Ying's figure reappeared on the side of the deputy captain. It's just right, and I'll split you in two now. The laser knife in the vice captain's hand swept across thousands of troops, and slashed towards Bai Ying's waist. After the light dissipated, Bai Ying's afterimage was also fleeting. This kind of speed is only worthy of a look of contempt from Bai Ying. The vice captain's provocative gaze was furious. The serial beheading followed Bai Ying's figure and attacked without stopping. Abandoning the biological body is already the greatest sacrifice, how can he be so despised by the enemy? If we have the ability, we will confront it head-on, and what is there to be proud of by hiding like a mouse? Su Yan is a pure waste, hiding behind a woman is nothing. The next moment, Bai Ying appeared behind the vice captain, and he did not allow anyone to insult Su Yan. Slightly stretched out a finger and lightly placed it on the vertebrae of the opponent's back. 2.6, a comminuted fracture, causing the motor nerve to be severed. The vice captain shook a few times and fell on his back. Lin Qingyue, who was watching the battle, couldn't help clapping her hands. The strength of these enemies is no more than that. After being transformed into a cyborg body, it only increases the power output. The preservation of the brain and internal organs of the organism means that there is no change in the ability of judgment, analysis, and on-the-spot response, and it is impossible to fully play the role of the body. As Su Yan's think tank strategist, Lin Qingyue should write down all these shortcomings, so as not to make the same mistake in the follow-up modification and upgrade of the Longing fleet. The situation was over. Bai Ying's toes gently kicked the opponent's chest. Her fighting process is as comfortable as peers, and full of beauty. Bai Ying did not continue to entangle, and quickly evacuated to Su Yan's side. Su Yan took 2 steps forward. You all go back to the defense cabin, I can take care of this group of trash by myself. Su Yan had a confident smile on her face. The fighting power of these enemies was so bad that Su Yan didn't even bother to play games with them. He intends to solve them with Space Marines and show them their true strength. Hearing Su Yan's order, Lin Qingyue and others did not refuse. Sun returned to the defense cabin, and Su Yan alone stayed in the center of the battlefield. See this scene. The Iron Warriors cheered excitedly. Haha, it's so cool, I can finally raise my eyebrows. That guy dared to deal with us, I want him to know the fate of offending our Iron Man. The Iron Men shouted loudly. Yes, we lost 5 battle fleets just now, and now we can finally recover them. After we go back, we will let this kid go without food. We must let him know the price of offending us, another Iron Man soldier said. Seeing this scene, Su Yan couldn't help but snorted coldly. 31. Immediately, the Space Marines attacked directly. The cannonballs of the star cannon pierced the night sky, and the rumbling sound was deafening, and it was particularly harsh under the dark starry sky. Not to be outdone, the Iron Men picked up the laser guns in their hands and aimed them at the Space Warriors, then pulled the trigger to shoot at them. The power of the laser gun can destroy the defense cover of any steel structure, and it can also penetrate the body of the Space Marine, causing the Space Marine to be seriously injured. However, against Su Yan's space fighters, their laser guns would be absorbed by the powerful magnetic field before they could reach the space fighters' defense cover, and were eventually completely disintegrated by Su Yan. Moreover, this move is more than just a defensive cover. Under Su Yan's control, the bodies of these Space Marines also became extremely flexible. They can easily avoid the attack of the laser gun, and even use their own body to block the attack of the laser gun. For a time, these space warriors actually reduced the damage of the laser gun to zero. The figure of the space warriors, in this dark universe, is extraordinarily tall, and every movement of them seems to be showing their power. They exuded a powerful fighting spirit. Although these Iron Men possessed strength and speed that surpassed that of ordinary humans, they were still incomparable to mechanical battleships. Their weapons and equipment were also unable to withstand the attacks of Space Marines. Just a little release of power is enough to make these people lose their combat effectiveness. In front of the Space Warriors, their fighting ability is simply too weak, just like ants facing a towering mountain. Space Marines are invincible on the battlefield. Space Marines are like a high-speed rotating meat grinder, making these Iron Men into a mess. Their armor was punched through by the Space Marine's mechanical arm, and their armor was pierced by the Space Marine. For a time, screams and howls resounded over the entire planet. Cannonballs exploded in the starry sky for no money, illuminating this area as bright as day. Su Yen stood on top of a giant rock overlooking the battle below. This is the first war, and Su Yen will also use his own record to tell the world that he cannot be underestimated, and not everyone can easily bully him. His record is to use battles and victories to prove that he is not so incompetent. Every battle is the glory created by countless blood. Some people may think that Su Yan's record is not glorious, but Su Yen doesn't mind this. In Su Yan's heart, only victory is glorious. A famous Iron Man was knocked into the sky by the Space Warriors, and smashed to the ground, making a dull crashing sound. In front of the Space Marines, they are as vulnerable as ants. At this moment, they really know what is helplessness and what is fear. Battle after battle, defeats again and again, just like boulders, slamming on the hearts of everyone. These Iron Men have never felt the taste of battle. At this moment, they deeply realized that the battle is so painful and so difficult. It's torture, it's torture. Under the attack of Su Yan's space fighters, these Iron Men fell back one by one, dying one by one, unable to get up again. Before the Space Marines, they were like babies. The most powerful force in a galaxy, in front of the Space Warriors, has no resistance, and is as small as ants. Su Yan's eyes swept around, looking at the Iron Men lying on the ground. His eyes became cold. These Iron Men are all wearing sturdy metal armor. These things may be useless on Earth, but in the eyes of Space Warriors, these things are just a pile of scrap metal. Kill them. Su Yan gave the order. Yes. The Space Warriors, like tigers descending the mountain, rushed towards the group of Iron Men. The Space Marines surrounded the Iron Men and attacked. It was a carnage, Iron Men, torn to shreds by the Space Marines. The power of the Star Wars 093 soldiers is so powerful that every time they smashed down with their steel-like fists, those sturdy metal armors could not withstand such a violent impact and shattered one after another. Under the attack of the Space Warriors, the Iron Men fell to the ground one by one. Their vitality is extremely tenacious, but under such a crazy offensive, it is useless. In just a few minutes, the Iron Men were all beheaded. Their bodies and bones were all devoured by the Space Marines. These corpses, like crystal nuclei, were swallowed by the Space Warriors and turned into a part of the Space Warriors' energy. The energy crystal nuclei, floating in the air, were captured by Su Yan. In the body of these Iron Men, a large amount of energy is stored. These energies are enough to support the long-term battle of the Space Warriors. An Iron Man's body stored millions of energy, but it was easily destroyed under the offensive of the Space Warriors, and all this energy was swallowed by the Space Warriors. Space Marines devour these energies as if they were drinking water. Such energy, the increase in Space Warriors is really minimal. Space Marines continue to devour these energies, growing bit by bit. But Su Yan is not satisfied with this. He also wants to make the Space Marine stronger. But Su Yan is not satisfied with this. He also wants to make the Space Marine stronger. Change me. Su Yan made 2 purple lightning bolts. With his roar, huge flame meteors appeared in the void, under his control, bombarded the buildings below, destroying them. These buildings are the homes of those iron people. These buildings are made of steel. Under the attack of space warriors, they were destroyed and turned into ashes. Under the offensive of the space warriors, the Iron Men here, like a group of slaughtered lambs, were knocked to the ground one by one and torn to pieces. And the Star-Lord of Orion is standing on the top of a building, watching the battle in the distance. Lord Orion's face was uncertain. His eyes saw the scene below, and a wry smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. I didn't expect him to have such strength. The strength of the Star-Lord of Orion is definitely strong, but now, facing Su Yan, he doesn't dare to be too big. In front of him, Su Yan's strength was like a beast, which made the Lord of Orion shudder. This time I was planted. The Star-Lord of Orion murmured, and his eyes flashed with a strong unwillingness. If it weren't for Su Yan, he would be even stronger. Now he can only watch Su Yan helplessly, slaughtering all the Iron Men here, and then turning this place into ruins. Su Yan slaughtered all the Iron Men under the Orion Star-Lord in one breath. Su Yan stood there silently, with a pair of eyes staring in the direction of Lord Orion. The figure of the Lord of Orion was clearly reflected in Su Yan's pupils. Lord Orion, I will come to take your life today, but I would like to see, how can you escape this time? Su Yan stepped out and appeared in front of Lord Orion in an instant, stretched out his hand, and tightly grasped Lord Orion's neck with 5 fingers. Let go. Lord Orion's body was trembling. He did not expect that he would be captured by Su Yan like this. He is a lord, but now, in front of Su Yan, he seems so insignificant. He can't even resist. He can only let Su Yan lift him up. This feeling is too aggrieved. Su Yan didn't want to talk nonsense with him either, and killed the Orion Lord directly. After killing the Lord of Orion, Su Yan went on to Orion, where he was going to capture Orion's transformation fleet. Su Yan led the space fighters and went straight to Orion. Along the way, Su Yan met countless transformants. All of them were killed by Su Yan, and then absorbed the energy in their bodies and were swallowed by the space fighters. Su Yan's speed was extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, he had already reached the sky above Orion. Over the Orion star, a fleet of transformations floats. Orion's transformation fleet is now headless. The arrival of Su Yan did not make them panic, but quickly organized defenses and prepared to meet the enemy. It's Su Yan. Here he comes. Quick, Iron Man, let the Iron Man come over. Su Yan's sudden appearance caused a commotion among them. Orion's transformation fleet has already set such a program. If the Lord of Orion dies, then Iron Man will control the transformation fleet. And now, Lord Orion has been defeated by Su Yan, so it's Iron Man's turn to transform the fleet to carry out his mission. In the transformation fleet, an Iron Man quickly took control of the transformation fleet. Iron Man, with dark skin, tall and thin body, and eyes like eagles, looked at Su Yan with hatred in his eyes. The corner of his mouth raised a vicious look, and he looked at Su Yan with gnashing teeth. Today, I will make you pay the price. Su Yan looked at the Iron Man indifferently. Su Yan is not afraid of Iron Man, because he has the help of Space Marines. He has enough confidence. He needs to let the Iron Man know how powerful he is, and that his strength cannot be stopped by these Iron Man. Iron Man looked at Su Yan, his eyes full of ferocity and anger. Immediately, Iron Man led the transformation troops and ships to attack Su Yan. Above the Iron Man's armor, a red and blue intertwined light shone, and flames, like cannonballs, spewed out of the armor and attacked Su Yan. These flames are so powerful that they can burn everything. This is the unique weapon of the transformation person, the flamethrower. This weapon can exert extremely powerful destructive power. Under these flamethrower cannons, even metal will be melted through. However, these attacks were all avoided by Su Yan. Su Yan was in the air, shaped like electricity, flying in the air, his figure constantly changing, dodging the attack of the flamethrower. Although the flamethrower is amazing, it can't help Su Yan. Su Yan was in the air, and his figure was dodging again and again. He was constantly dodging the attack of the flames. At the same time, The space warriors also rushed towards the transformation troops and ships. Kill! Su Yan shouted, and dashed towards the remodeler with a figure like electricity. He condensed a fiery ball of fire, and then smashed it towards the transformed man. This ball of fire exploded in the air, and in an instant, the entire space seemed to be distorted. The bodies of those who transformed people were quickly reduced to ashes under the attack of flames. These transformed human armors are not ordinary armors, but transformed star armors. These modified human armors can withstand all attacks, even the bombardment of artillery shells cannot damage them. However, Su Yan's fireball is capable of destroying these transformational armors, and the flames can burn everything, including their armors. Seeing how easily Su Yan destroyed their armor, everyone was shocked. They didn't understand how these modified armors couldn't resist Su Yan's attack. Seeing that Su Yan was so ferocious, Iron Man directly used the strongest attack of the modified fleet. From the battleship of the modified fleet, they shot out energy one after another and attacked Su Yan. These energies turned into various weapons in the air, densely packed, covering the sky and the sun, sweeping towards Su Yan. The power of these energies is very great. It can destroy the star field, and it can also tear the universe apart. Under such an attack, Su Yan also felt very dangerous. He didn't dare to hit hard, he quickly dodged. While dodging, he looked for the weak point of the modified battleship. Transforming a battleship is like a giant machine, and its control system is to control the energy supply of the battleship. Once the energy supply is stopped, the transformation of the warship will be ineffective. Battleship energy can only be maintained for a maximum of 6 hours. If the energy is exhausted within 6 hours, the modified battleship will be scrapped. Therefore, it is necessary to find the weak point of the modified warship before it can destroy the modified warship. Su Yan thought quickly, and in his mind, he quickly searched for the weakness of the modified battleship. The transformation of the battleship is the most important battleship of the Iron Man, and the combat power of the Iron Man is reflected in the transformation of the battleship. In the transformation of warships, a large number of energy weapons will definitely be equipped. In his mind, he quickly searched for the weaknesses of each modified battleship. In the end, he locked the outermost periphery of the modified battleship, and there was a thick shell on top of the outer shell of the modified battleship. The color of this shell is different from other modified warships. It is a layer of dark metal with small grooves on the surface. This groove allows the modified warship to repair itself. Such a protective cover can withstand the attacks of the space warriors, and the attacks of the space warriors cannot damage the shell of the modified battleship at all. Su Yan quickly formed a fireball and bombarded the modified battleship. Su Yan's fireball turned into a meteor shower of fireballs in midair and landed on the hull of the modified battleship. Fireball Meteor Shower 093 exploded on the shell of the modified battleship, producing a large amount of smoke. The smoke was also mixed with many flames. These flames continued to burn, wrapping the modified battleship. The smoke dissipated, and the transformed battleship still stood. Su Yan frowned. The defense of this modified warship is really strong, and it can withstand the attack of the fireball meteor shower without being damaged. It seems that these modified warships are some kind of high-tech materials. These transformation materials are currently unavailable to Su Yan. Transforming warships is indeed an advanced warfare tool for transforming interstellar warships. The combat power of the modified warships is very powerful. Su Yan's fireballs could not destroy these modified warships. Instead, they were burned and smoked by the energy of these modified warships. Su Yan's face sank slightly. The defensive power of these modified warships is too strong. In this case, his attack can only play a supporting role. Su Yan did not hesitate and continued to charge towards the transformation of the battleship. Behind him, the Space Marines followed closely behind Su Yan. They helped Su Yan in the back and kept bombing DBCG to transform the warship. And the transformation of the warship, it is constantly attacking Su Yan. Su Yan's fireballs constantly bombed and remodeled the shell of the battleship, and the energy shields on the battleship were constantly burned by the flames. Flames continue to devour the energy shields that transform the battleship. Above the energy shield of the transformed battleship, there were openings one by one, and those openings continued to expand, and soon, these openings expanded to the extreme. In the end, these openings completely collapsed, and the fragments of these openings continued to sputter in all directions, and these fragments drew splendid arcs in the starry sky. These fragments fell on the interstellar battleship, and immediately, countless cracks appeared in the energy shield of the interstellar battleship. Click! Under the bombardment of Su-Yan's fireball, the outer shell of the spaceship finally couldn't bear it. There are many cracks on these shells, and they will explode completely at any time. These shells are also cast from the materials used to transform the battleship, and have been processed by the main brain of the transformed battleship. It can withstand the maximum force that an interplanetary battleship can withstand. If it weren't for the function of transforming the main brain of the battleship, the function of Su-Yan's fireball would not have been able to crack the defense of the transformed battleship. Although the shell of the modified battleship continued to have cracks, it still persisted. However, Su-Yan can foresee that, if this continues, these shells will be destroyed by the fireball sooner or later. Just when Su-Yan wanted to attack again, the Libra Empire's destroyer fleet arrived at this time. The J-Star fleet quickly came to the side of the transformed battleship and began to attack the transformed battleship. The destroyer-level fleet is the trump card force of the Libra Empire. Their attack power is very strong, and their artillery fire is also quite sharp, which can penetrate the defense of the modified battleship. The attack of the destroyer-level fleet made the transformation of the warships precarious. Under the frenzied offensive of the Libra Empire's Annihilation Star fleet, the defense of the transformed warships is becoming more and more fragile. As time goes by, the defense of the transformed warships is about to be broken. The Annihilation Star fleet's attacks are also becoming more and more ferocious, and they launch energy cannonballs one after another, constantly attacking and transforming the warships. Although this modified battleship is protected by defensive devices, its strength is still much worse than that of the interstellar battleship. Under the attack of these shells, the defensive cover is also shattered a little bit. This is the power of the J-Star fleet, with laser light, high explosive energy, high-pressure electromagnetic guns, etc. These attacks have extraordinary lethality. I don't know how long it can last to transform the energy cover of the battleship. If it can't hold on, it will be completely destroyed, and the transformed battleship will completely lose its energy supply. The transformed warships saw that the attack of the J-Star fleet was so powerful, and they also increased the output of artillery fire, trying to resist the attack of the J-Star fleet. However, the artillery attack of the fleet was also very ferocious. Under such circumstances, cracks gradually appeared in the defensive cover of the transformed battleship. Soon, these cracks grew larger. At this time, the Iron Man in the transformed battleship fled to the distance and uploaded the data of the battleship to the cloud. Chase. Can't let them go, Su-Yan said with a sneer, and then he chased after the modified battleship. The speed of these transformations of warships is very fast, however, countless cracks have appeared in their defense covers. At this time, the defense covers of the transformation of warships are the weakest moment. And Su-Yan's attack seized this opportunity. Su-Yan's fireball technique constantly left wounds one by one on the shell of the modified battleship, and many holes appeared on the modified battleship. Soon, gaps appeared on the transformed battleship, and these gaps gradually became larger and wider. There was also a violent shock inside the transformed battleship. Obviously, the transformed battleship was encountering a strong impact. These modified battleships are really tenacious, Su-Yan said, with a smile on his face. Although the modified battleships are powerful, they are not strong enough to withstand his full attack. Although this attack failed to break through the modified battleship, there were also many gaps inside the modified warship, and these gaps were enough to completely scrap the modified warship. When the J-Star fleet saw that the energy shield of the transformed battleship was about to be broken, they immediately began to increase their attacks, and their artillery fire also became denser. The power of the artillery fire increased again, and at the same time as the artillery fire attacked, a series of laser beams were also shot from their barrels. The power of this round of laser beam attack is also extremely powerful. Under the attack of this laser beam, this remodeled battleship was also beaten with many holes. Many big holes appeared, and a lot of energy flowed out at this time. At this time, the battleships of the Libra Empire's J-Star fleet also continued to rush towards the transformation of the battleships. The goal is to transform the Iron Man inside the battleship. Under the attack of the destroyer-level fleet of the Libra Empire, the Iron Man in the transformed battleship kept screaming. Many Iron Men died directly after being hit by the battleships of the destroyer-level fleet, while the remaining Iron Men were also affected by hit hard. Under the attack of the destroyer-level fleet of the Libra Empire, the energy shield of the transformed battleship finally collapsed completely. The energy shield completely disappeared, and many cracks appeared on the outer layer of the transformed battleship. With a loud bang, the outer layer of the transformed battleship completely collapsed, and it also turned into pieces in the sky and fell into the vast space. Transforming the battleship, after all, did not escape the fate of falling. After the body of the modified battleship completely fell, all the Iron Men in the modified battleship died, and the modified battleship also sank completely in the void of the universe. The transformation of the battleship was finally completely killed by the J-Star fleet. Under the strong attack of the Annihilation Star fleet, the transformed battleship was finally completely annihilated, and all the resources in the transformed battleship were swept away by the Annihilation Star fleet of the Libra Empire, and the transformation of the battleship was also completely without any breath of life. The destroyer-level fleet, after annihilating the transformed warships, returned to the surface of the planet one after another. At this moment, Suyan's fireball meteor shower has destroyed about half of Orion. This made the Libra Empire lament the power of Suyan, and they couldn't help but wonder, what method did Suyan use to break the energy shield of the modified battleship, and also bombed the modified battleship into powder? This made people feel very puzzled. They couldn't believe it at all. This modified battleship would be smashed by Suyan, and it was smashed unknowingly, which was unbelievable. Although there are only 30 modified warships, their value is also very huge. If one can obtain a modified warship, it is an endless wealth. Therefore, the Libra Empire also wants to acquire a modified battleship, and the periphery of the modified battleship is also covered with protective shields, which is also to prevent the modified battleship from being attacked by the enemy. However, Suyan shattered the defense of the transformed battleship with a fireball meteor, which was a bit beyond the Libra Empire's expectations. They all thought that the modified battleship would be able to resist the attack of Suyan's fireball meteor shower, but now it seems that this is simply impossible. Suyan's flame energy is completely beyond ordinary flame energy. Once it touches this flame energy, it will burn quickly, and the energy will be lost, and it will eventually become a pile of coke. Suyan looked at the damaged modified battleship. He smiled slightly, and thought to himself, although the defense of the modified battleship is powerful, it is not omnipotent. Although its defense is strong, its defense cannot be permanent. Therefore, as long as you find a way to penetrate the outer wall of the modified warship, the transformation of the warship will not have much effect. Suyan knows that there are many weapons in the warships, such as nuclear weapons, which are the main weapons in the warships, and Suyan also knows some of the weapons in the modified battleship. The power of these nuclear weapons is very large, but there are limits to these nuclear weapons. The attack distance of nuclear weapons is only 500 kilometers. If it exceeds this range, the nuclear weapons will be useless, and these modified warships also have their own defense systems. Once danger approaches, the defense system will activate and isolate this danger. This is a technology similar to EMF, but much higher than EMF. On top of this nuclear weapon, there are some laser cannons, laser knives, etc., which are also the main weapons for transforming warships. Seeking flowers. There should be a laser sword or a laser axe in the modified battleship. Things like laser swords and laser knives are not a big threat to Suyan, because Suyan has a shield. Under the protection of the shield, the power of the laser sword cannot be exerted at all. As for the laser knife, this is a very good solution, because Su Yan can control the laser flight, which is also able to easily avoid the laser knife attack. Therefore, Su Yan's actual combat power is not weaker than some warships, but the defensive power of this modified warship is very strong, so Su Yan has no way to bombard the modified warship with fireball meteor showers. Otherwise, the transformed battleship must have been smashed by Su Yan, and the Iron Man in the transformed battleship must have been smashed to death by Su Yan long ago. 0. However, Su Yan can be considered a bargain, but he has collected a lot of spoils. In the transformation of the warship, Su Yan collected a batch of metal materials, all of which are the metal materials in the transformation of the warship. These metal materials are all metal minerals in the modified battleship. Su Yan has scraped it a lot in the modified battleship, and also cleaned up the arsenal inside the modified battleship. However, this transformation of the warship is also considered unlucky. Such a huge transformation of the warship just smashed. Su Yan found that some Iron Men were still alive in the modified battleship, so he directly used the energy bomb without saying a word. Call out. A series of energy bombs instantly shot into the transformed battleship, smashing part of the Iron Man of the transformed battleship into pieces. Su Yan scoured all the metal materials inside the remodeled battleship, and he didn't idle, he walked straight forward, ready to explore. Su Yan also wants to see what kind of equipment is in the transformed warship, and Su Yan also wants to see what kind of weapons are in the arsenal of the transformed warship, which can make the transformed warship become so sharp. However, the transformed warships were almost destroyed, leaving no good equipment at all. However, the shell of the modified battleship is still very hard, and the modification of the main armor of the battleship is also very heavy. If you're enjoying my content, please consider donating a coffee. Or checking out my shirts on TeePublic. Boom. Su Yan's energy fist bombarded the main armor, and the main armor of the modified battleship remained motionless. Huh? It's actually quite tough. Su Yan frowned, and he didn't expect that, when he bombarded with such a punch, the shell of the modified battleship was not damaged, and it still looked like it was motionless. Although Su Yan's energy fist is very terrifying, it can't cause any damage to the skin of this modified battleship. Could it be that the shell of this modified battleship is stronger than ordinary steel plates? If so, it would be great, Su Yan thought to himself. He did not stop attacking the shell of the modified battleship, and the energy punches kept bombarding the modified battleship. Outer armor. Su Yan kept attacking the armor on the outside of the modified battleship. However, this modified battleship is also sturdy and scary. When Su Yan's 093 attacked, the main armor was not damaged at all. After attacking for a period of time, the outside of the modified battleship has been attacked with fine cracks, and these cracks can be torn open with only a little force. Boom! A loud bang came. The shell of the modified battleship was finally completely destroyed. Su Yan saw the interior of the modified battleship, but Su Yan's face became extremely solemn. Because the interior of the remodeled battleship turned out to be an empty piece of nothing, except for some parts, there was nothing else. What's in here? Why are they all gone? Su Yan wondered. Su Yan couldn't help thinking, could it be destroyed? Could it be the aftermath of the explosion that turned all the devices that transformed the battleship into scrap metal? Su Yan couldn't help thinking. No matter what kind of possibility, this transformed battleship has been destroyed, and the equipment in this transformed battleship should be impossible to repair again. Since the interior of the modified battleship has been destroyed, the wealth in it should also be gone. I might as well go to other areas to search. Su Yan thought to himself. Su Yan did not dare to delay, and immediately left to rebuild the battleship. After leaving the transformation ship, Su Yan just met the spokesperson of the Libra Empire. His name is Ross. When Su Yan saw Ross, he asked, "I have destroyed all the modified warships here. Shouldn't your Libra Empire hold me accountable?" Ross nodded and said, "Of course I won't be held accountable. Mr. Su, you did a beautiful job. On behalf of the entire Libra Empire, I salute you. Thank you for the compliment." I don't know if Ross's representative is convenient now, I want to see what kind of good things are in the modified battleship. Su Yan asked. Of course, there is no problem, Ross said, and then led Su Yan to the interior of the modified battleship. Su Yan followed Ross and headed for the arsenal of the modified battleship. This arsenal is the most central part of transforming a warship. Along the way, Su Yan carefully checked the arsenal of the modified battleship, but Su Yan found nothing. The arsenal was basically destroyed, and Su Yan did not see those energy weapons, which made Su Yan very depressed. In the end, Su Yan could only give up. The weapons used to transform the battleship are actually destroyed by themselves? Su Yan thought to himself. Regardless of whether the good things in the remodeled battleship are still there, the remodeled warship has also been completely destroyed. I estimate that the remodeled warship is now only a shell. Su Yan shook her head and walked outside. When Su Yan left the arsenal, he closed the door of the arsenal. After all, there is nothing to see now, and the transformation of the warship is over. Su Yan does not intend to continue to study the internal situation of the transformation of the warship here. Su Yan has already quietly harvested half of Orion's property, and whether there is anything in the arsenal is not so important to him. Ross, as the spokesperson of the Libra Empire, said that they would take over Orion, and Su Yan also knew about it, and his purpose here is to reach the next galaxy through the Star Gate, which is what Su Yan wants to achieve most. After saying hello to Rose, Su Yan left here. Su Yan has to go to other areas to see now, so he didn't talk to Rose more. After all, there are still many things about Su Yan. After Su Yan left, the Libra Empire found that all the treasuries in the destroyed city had been taken away by Su Yan. The people of the Libra Empire immediately understood the reason for this, and they all looked surprised. However, they quickly returned to normal, because they took over Orion, so there is no need to worry about these things. It seems that this person named Su Yan is a ruthless character who has moved so much wealth, said Ross, the spokesperson of the Libra Empire. The upper echelons of the Libra Empire also felt that Su Yan was a bit extraordinary. The spokesperson of the Libra Empire sighed inwardly. However, there are many valuable things in the interior of the remodeled battleship. The prices of these things are also very high, and these things are very important for the Libra Empire. The people of the Libra Empire immediately dispatched personnel to search for the property of the transformed battleship, intending to scavenge them all. However, the people of the Libra Empire were soon disappointed again. Because, in the transformed battleship, there is nothing at all, and everything has been destroyed. What the hell is going on? People in the Libra Empire are very puzzled. They searched the modified battleship for a long time but found nothing of value. At this time, Ross, the spokesperson of the Libra Empire, suddenly said, "This modified battleship, I seem to remember, was destroyed by a sneak attack by the Su Yan." "You mean, Su Yan destroyed all the warships?" Ross's words, 2.6 shocked the people around him. If that's the case, then Su Yan is really too powerful. After Su Yan left here, they wandered around on other planets. After they left the modified battleship, the defense capability of the modified battleship had completely disappeared. Therefore, they can now easily enter the Orion star, wander around the Orion star, and find a suitable planet to build an interstellar base. What they are looking for now is a planet suitable for building an interstellar base. Su Yan came to another planet. This planet, yes, it seems that it is very close to Orion, and there are many creatures living on this planet, which is a good choice. Su Yan thought to himself, and then he entered this planet. Among the properties of Orion, Su Yan also discovered the records of information exchange between Iron Man and Orus Galaxy. After reading the information, Su Yan immediately understood that the people in the Orus Galaxy were exchanging goods with the Iron Man, and the Iron Man also sold the goods of the Orus Galaxy to the people in the Orus Galaxy, and the people in the Orus Galaxy also sold the goods to the Orion Galaxy. The Orion Galaxy sold these goods to the Iron Man, and the two were mutually beneficial, which was also the reason why the Iron Man and the merchants of the Orus Galaxy became so friendly. However, seeing this, Su Yan frowned. It seems that Iron Man and Orus Galaxy also have a conflict of interest. However, what does the conflict between them have to do with me? Su Yan thought to himself that he is not going to participate in the battle between Iron Man and Orus Galaxy. I'd better leave Orion, things here have nothing to do with me, and here is not my territory, I stay here, and it is of no use. Su Yan thought of this, and immediately flew towards another planet of Orion. When Su Yan came to the Orus Galaxy, he was also very surprised. The Orus Galaxy is actually much larger than the Orion star, and the technology level of the Orus Galaxy 31 is also much higher than that of the Orion star. The Orus Galaxy is also the first planet developed by the Orion star. Su Yan looked at the Orus Galaxy in front of him and couldn't help but be a little surprised. It seems that this Orus Galaxy is indeed a bit complicated. Our Orion star is on the edge of the Orus Galaxy, but compared with the Orus Galaxy, the Orion Galaxy is still too bad. Su Yan secretly said. The planet area of the Orus Galaxy is very vast. Su Yan wandered around the Orus Galaxy, but he couldn't see through the overall strength of the Orus Galaxy, and he couldn't judge how strong the Orus Galaxy was. Su Yan wandered around the Orus Galaxy and found that although the Orus Galaxy is the birthplace of a technological civilization, the technological level of the Orus Galaxy is very backward. Su Yan also does not know why the Orus Galaxy did not evolve into civilization. At this time, Su Yan signed in directly. Congratulations to the host for getting the sign-in reward. The cockpit of the Azure Dragon course ship, the Azure Dragon ship energy storage system is turned on. The energy storage system can provide 100 units of energy per day, which can be doubled every day. Qinglong course ship, the energy system is turned on, and the most advanced electromagnetic pulse cannon can be used, with a maximum energy output of 10,000 light-years. Hearing the prompt sound in his mind, Su Yan suddenly became excited. Haha, this time, there are more ships, Su Yan was excited. And the various abilities of Qinglong ships are also extremely powerful, which is the main reason why Qinglong ships can become sci-fi weapons. Qinglong ships can be upgraded automatically. As long as there is enough energy storage, Qinglong ships can be upgraded. Such a ship that can be upgraded can play a great role on the battlefield. In the starry sky of the Orus Galaxy, there are many small galaxies. These galaxies are the most common galaxies in the starry sky. In the starry sky, the resources of these galaxies are extremely scarce. Su Yan's spaceship was extremely fast. Under Su Yan's control, the spaceship passed an afterimage in the air and quickly flew into the Orus Galaxy. Su Yan landed on the ground, and then, Su Yan rushed towards somewhere in the Orus Galaxy. No creature survived here, and only a desolate area was left. Su Yan ignored these desolate planets, and went straight to the center of the galaxy, which was in the middle of a giant mountain range. There is a giant peak in the center of the mountain range. This giant peak is very towering, as if it is an Optimus Prime. Standing on this giant peak and looking down at the surroundings, the feeling is like looking up at a sky. And the top of this giant peak is a huge platform. Su Yan flew over the giant peak, and in his eyes, the surrounding of the giant peak was full of strong energy fluctuations, and the energy here was very violent. Su Yan can clearly feel that the energy here is very pure and huge. Here, there is a special breath. This breath makes him very comfortable, as if the whole person is immersed in this wonderful feeling, which makes Su Yan's mood very happy. Around this giant peak, Su Yan discovered a lot of nebulae, and the nebulae were very dense. Su Yan was able to see these nebulae, and someone was manipulating these nebulae. Su Yan looked at these nebulae and wondered, are these nebulae moving? In this way, will Su Yan still be able to survive in this galaxy? Su Yan thought to himself. At the same time, he found some black spots on the edge of this giant mountain, and these black spots were exactly Su Yan's goal. After Su Yan glanced at these black spots, her complexion changed, because Su Yan found that these black spots were composed of light spots one by one. In Su Yan's eyes, it became extremely strange. On their heads, there were sharp thorns, which looked like hedgehogs. They looked very disgusting and terrifying, but these thorns actually radiated the light blue light is full of powerful energy. This made Su Yan secretly surprised. These thorns are all void creatures. Void creatures are very powerful beings in the starry sky. The combat power of these void creatures is even stronger than that of space warriors. Moreover, void creatures have extremely strong reproductive capacity. In the void, there is almost no place where they dare not go, and the fighting methods of the void creatures are also very ferocious and terrifying. Void creatures with very terrifying abilities. However, the void creatures are also very united. Once they encounter danger, they will unite, and the united void creatures are very powerful. Void creatures are life forms that are not easy to provoke. Su Yan's eyes narrowed slightly. He did not expect that he would encounter a void creature here. However, although these void creatures are terrifying, Su Yan's strength is not weaker than these void creatures. These void creatures usually inhabit the void cracks, and will never walk out of the void cracks, so Su Yan doesn't need to worry about void creatures. Although these void creatures are powerful, they are very afraid of flames, so under the attack of flames, their energy will be instantly evaporated. This made Su Yan feel very troublesome. There are too many void creatures. Even if he can kill these void creatures, he will be entangled by the void creatures. In this case, it is very troublesome for Su Yan. It also made Su Yan feel a little worried about the next journey. However, since he came to this Orus galaxy, he naturally had to explore. At this time, Su Yan discovered that Iron Man sent his action to a barren planet in the Orus galaxy. The owner of this planet is a person from the Orus galaxy, and the people on this planet live here, and their technology is also very advanced, but their technology is still far behind that of Su Yan. However, Su Yan unexpectedly discovered that the former 10 Heavenly King of the Inland Sea, the true ancestor of the Blood Clan, Count Raphael, was hiding here. A smile appeared on Su Yan's face, and he immediately rushed towards the position of Count Raphael, the true ancestor of the Blood Clan. This is a barren planet in the Orus galaxy, and Count Raphael, the true ancestor of the Blood race, is now hiding in the depths of this planet. In Su Yan's mind, this message was conveyed. Su Yan's figure flashed, and he came to this planet in an instant. He came to the top of the planet and found that there were countless stars at the top of the planet. The energy of these stars is very strong, much stronger than the energy of the Orus galaxy, and these stars seem to be made of special metals. And this true ancestor of the Blood race should be hiding in these stars. Without hesitation, Su Yan immediately used her abilities and began to investigate the surroundings. Boom! Just when Su Yan's ability was just released, this huge planet suddenly exploded. And when the explosion sounded, Su Yan felt a very huge energy, impacting from all directions. This shock caused Su Yan's body to keep retreating backwards. What kind of energy is this? It's so huge. Su Yan was horrified, and his face became solemn. He knew that the power of this energy was much stronger than he imagined. This energy can actually affect oneself. One can imagine how powerful it is. Su Yan didn't dare to neglect, and quickly turned the energy to resist. Count Raphael is really hidden very deeply. Su Yan sighed inwardly. After being hunted down by the ancient empire, Count Raphael has become very embarrassed, but it does not affect his combat effectiveness at all. The ancient creature thorn is the weapon of Count Raphael. The current Count of Raphael has recovered his strength. Count Raphael, under the pursuit of the Empire, escaped from the Orus galaxy, hid in this barren planet, and hid on this barren planet. This planet was his old lair. Su Yan's expression changed slightly. He felt that this planet is very huge. His abilities can only be used here for about 60%. This 60% ability is still enhanced by the mysterious void energy but this 60% ability is enough to deal with here. Su Yan's eyes looked at the barren planet in front of him, and a cold smile appeared on his face. In the next second, Su Yan's figure disappeared in place. Su Yan's body instantly came to this barren planet. He stood on this barren planet and looked up. This barren planet was like a meteorite, gray in color, and the energy on this planet was very rich. The creatures on this planet also seemed to have found the trace of Su Yan, and they let out an angry roar, and in the roar, Su Yan also felt a lot of hostility. In Su Yan's eyes, there was also an icy cold light. In this case, Su Yan had an icy smile on his face. Iron Man did not give up Count Raphael, but strengthened Count Raphael's body and transformed it into a semi-void creature that could absorb void energy. The current Count of Raphael is not what he used to be. Although the former Count Raphael was strong, he couldn't move casually after all, and could only passively defend or evade, but the current Count Raphael has improved several times in both speed and reflection ability. He can easily avoid the attacks of void creatures, and at the same time, he can also absorb void creatures for his own use. Or scooping up void creatures is not a problem. After Su Yan came here, Count Raphael, the true ancestor of the blood race on this planet, had already sensed the existence of Su Yan. After he learned that Su Yan was here, he did not go out impulsively, but prepared to ambush Su Yan, kill Su Yan. Because he knows that Su Yan's strength is much stronger than him, the energy in his body is also much larger than him, and he also has the ability of Blood Clan. His current strength can't beat Su at all Yan. However, he was unwilling to hide like this. Hiding at the bottom of the planet, he needed to find some help, and his target was naturally Su Yan. The true ancestor of the Blood Clan is really cunning. Su Yan felt this breath, and a faint smile hung on the corner of his mouth. If this is the case, I have to play with him. After Su Yan finished speaking, he flew directly into the star field. He flew all the way to the planet. Su Yan has now mastered a certain amount of void energy, and in this case, he can fly above this planet without much problem. His speed was very fast, and it only took a few minutes for his figure to appear in the sky above this planet. The void creatures on this planet also sensed Su Yan's arrival, and they attacked Su Yan one after another. And Su Yan was also rude, released energy directly, and bombarded these void creatures. These void creatures, with only second and third order strengths, promises good, had no resistance to Su Yan's offensive, and were directly bombarded and shattered by Su Yan's energy. Su Yan did not stop and continued to fly forward. Su Yan's current target is only the half-void creature, Count Raphael. As long as the half-void creature is dealt with, those void creatures will be vulnerable. Su Yan's figure kept moving in the void, and soon, he found the location of Count Raphael. Count Raphael is hiding in a huge cave. This huge cave is a huge meteorite. Under the meteorite, it is a dark and boundless void, which looks like a dark night. And the location of Count Raphael is in the deepest part of the meteorite. After Su Yan's figure fell, he immediately descended towards the bottom. This is a huge black hole, and around this black hole, there are some void creatures scattered. As soon as Su Yan came here, this group of void creatures attacked Su Yan. Court death. A sneer appeared on Su Yan's face. He waved his arms, and black energy sprayed out from his arms, sweeping away in all directions. Where these energies passed, the bodies of these void creatures were torn apart by the energies. After these void creatures were torn apart, Su Yan did not stop and continued to fly towards Count Raphael's cave. Su Yan's body came directly to the side of the huge meteorite, and he looked towards the cave of Count Raphael. From the cave of Count Raphael, there was a roar of panic and fear. In this terrifying roar, the energy in his body was also constantly surging. At this time, Su Yan had come to the cave of Count Raphael, with a cold smile on his face. "Did you finally come out?" Su Yan's indifferent voice resounded. The aura on his body also kept rising, shrouding the past towards the bottom. Su Yan's eyes also locked on Count Raphael. When Count Raphael heard Su Yan's voice, a grim smile appeared on his face. He leaped out of the cave, his body turned into a cloud of black mist, and appeared in Su Yan's room. Boy, 093 didn't expect you to be quite smart, and you know that you came here to find me, yes, but unfortunately, my power is much stronger than yours, and I can easily kill you, do you believe it? Count Raphael looked at Su Yan and laughed coldly. There was a powerful coercion on his body. He looked at Su Yan with disdain in his eyes. "Oh yeah? Then you try, I'd like to see, how can you kill me?" There was still a sneer on Su Yan's face, his eyes were fixed on Count Raphael, without any fear. On his body, a powerful air current is constantly surging. In his body, it seems that something is swallowing the surrounding void energy, and a violent void energy is raging in his body. These void energies also formed void energy blades in Su Yan's body. On Su Yan's arm, there are a series of void blades. These void blades, under the nourishment of void energy, have also become more sharp and incomparable, as if they can cut through space. With a single knife, it can cut through space and cut everything. Su Yan's body exudes a strong breath, his breath is constantly soaring, a powerful air wave spreads towards the surrounding, setting off endless storms around, blowing the dust above the meteorite, are constantly flying up. Under this breath, Count Raphael's face was calm, and he ordered a large number of void creatures to besiege Su Yan and his ship. At the moment when these void creatures rushed up, Su Yan's body moved, and the whole person disappeared directly in place. When he reappeared, he was already in the center of the void creatures. He directly raised the long sword in his hand and faced the void. The creatures slashed down fiercely, and the void blades also slashed towards these void creatures. Puff! A series of void blades directly penetrated these void creatures, and their bodies also turned into nothingness. Su Yan's speed is too fast, and his movement skills are beyond any creature in this universe. These void creatures cannot stop Su Yan's footsteps at all. However, although Su Yan is strong, the ships behind him are attacked by the void creatures, and they are constantly destroyed. Su Yan had no choice but to return to the ship. Count Raphael saw Su Yan returning to the ship, and a disdainful smile appeared on his face. "Even if you can kill my void creatures are endless, you simply cannot. You can't kill them all. When I get rid of your ship, I'll see how you can live." His heart was full of confidence. In his eyes, Su Yan was an ant that he played with and applauded. DBCG, Su Yan ignored Count Raphael's words, and his figure entered the cabin directly. Su Yan's figure entered the cabin, closed the door directly, and his body was also sitting on the chair in the cabin. Immediately after controlling the Qinglong core ship that had just been obtained, he began to control the ship to fly. Buzz! 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 In the ship, there were violent vibrations. During this vibration, the ship was also approaching the cave of Count Raphael, and the weapon system on this ship was also constantly changing, launched a powerful attack and attacked the void creatures outside the cave. At this moment, Su Yan had activated his main cannon. Bombarded towards the cave. Bang! 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 A series of explosions sounded, and countless cannonballs also bloomed in the air. The huge power generated by the explosion continued to destroy the space. All destroyed. Moreover, Su Yan also drove the ship to a place not far from Count Raphael's cave. As long as Su Yan fired the cannonball in the ship, the cannonball could accurately hit the cave of Count Raphael. Under such circumstances, no matter how many void creatures there are, they cannot resist the cannonball attack on this ship. The battle continued. Under such circumstances, Su Yan's ship was constantly approaching Count Raphael's cave. In this ship, those void creatures were also killed continuously, and Count Raphael saw that Su Yan's ship was constantly approaching, and his face became extremely ugly. He looked at Su Yan with angry flames in his eyes. At this moment, he was also very angry. This kid, how dare to ignore his existence so much? Dare to be so arrogant in his territory, it's really crazy. Kill him for me. The corner of Count Raphael's mouth was slightly upturned, and a cold arc appeared on the corner of his mouth, and his eyes were also full of murderous intent. Following his orders, these void creatures also slaughtered towards Su Yan's ship. At this moment, Su Yan also started to attack frantically. The ships danced in the air, and countless attacks poured out madly towards these void creatures. These attacks also completely shredded these void creatures, and the corpses of countless void creatures also fell from the air. Su Yan's ship was constantly flying in the air, but these void creatures couldn't do anything to get Suyan's ship. The ship in the air is like a giant python, constantly strangling these void creatures. These void creatures were simply in front of Suyan's ships and had no power to fight back. They were constantly being defeated and killed, and they couldn't resist Suyan's attack at all. Count Raphael looked at Suyan's ship and had a headache. At this moment, the speed of Suyan's ship was so fast that he couldn't catch it at all. His eyes froze, and a trace of dark energy also poured out from his body and merged into the void creatures in the air. These void creatures also became more ferocious, constantly moving towards Suyan's ship. He rammed away, trying to destroy Suyan's ship, so that Suyan's ship could not continue to move forward sailing. During this process, Suyan's ship was still flying forward, which meant that the speed of Suyan's ship was still increasing. These void creatures in the air, beneath Suyan's ship, appear like ants. In the air, Suyan's ships kept killing these void creatures. Boom! A huge explosion sounded, and countless energy aftermath radiated out in all directions. Count Raphael was also heartbroken when he saw the energy he had placed on these void creatures. The energy he placed on these void creatures was also a huge consumption. After Suyan destroyed these void creatures, he found that his star dragon egg actually became interested in the void energy in the void creatures, and began to devour the energy of the void creatures. Moreover, this devouring power is getting bigger and bigger, and it seems to have a never-ending momentum. Moreover, Suyan discovered that the energy of the void dragon can also be transformed into the power of stars. It seems that it is time to hatch the eggs of this star dragon, Suyan murmured. In this case, the hatching time of this star dragon's egg will also be shortened a lot. In this way, Suyan can also hatch the eggs of the starry sky dragon earlier. However, in this case, there is also a question, that is, what method will Suyan use to hatch the eggs of the star dragon? I don't know if I can use the power of the stars. Suyan thought that if he used the power of the stars, he might be able to hatch the eggs of the star dragon, but this method was a little dangerous. After all, the power of the stars is also very powerful. If Suyan was using the power of the stars and someone saw his move, it would be troublesome. Suyan was also hesitating whether to use the power of the stars to hatch the eggs of the starry sky dragon. At that time, he didn't know what would happen, and Suyan was also worried that the starry sky giant dragon egg might burst, so he did not dare to use the power of the stars to hatch the starry sky giant dragon egg. At this moment, Suyan suddenly remembered something, and a light flashed in his mind. Suyan also instantly thought of a way to collect the void energy dissipated from the void creature's body and use it to incubate the starry sky dragon egg. In this way, the starry sky dragon egg does not have to worry about the lack of energy after the shell is broken. This approach is a good idea. Therefore, Suyan immediately controlled these void creatures and continuously collected these void energies, and Suyan's ship was constantly flying in the air, killing those void creatures constantly. Soon, void creatures became rare. At this time, Suyan also controlled the ship and continued to charge towards Count Raphael's ship. Seeing this scene, Count Raphael was also a little panicked. He didn't expect that Suyan would use this method to deal with his void creature. Although this method is relatively simple, it can directly consume all the energy of these void creatures. This Suyan is indeed a person who is not easy to deal with. He can even think of such a way. Count Raphael also felt a headache. His void creatures are indeed vulnerable, and they will continue to consume his energy, so that his power continued to weaken. After the starry sky dragon egg absorbed the void energy, it also became more active. This made Suyan also a little happy, because the starry sky dragon egg has finally changed, and Suyan also believed that the starry sky dragon waiting for him to hatch will definitely not be bad. Suyan's ship kept approaching Count Raphael's ship. Count Raphael's face also became very ugly. If this continues, these void creatures will soon be killed by Suyan's ships. In that case, even if you have so many void creatures, what's the use? Damn it! Count Raphael cursed inwardly. Can't delay any longer. This Su Yan must be defeated as soon as possible, otherwise, I can only watch my void creatures die. 0, if so, let's fight. Count Raphael also decided to use his last whole card. Roar. Count Raphael also let out a roar, and under his feet, the void creatures also went crazy, and the void creatures drilled out of these void creatures, and then rammed towards Su Yan's starship battleship. Seeing these void creatures, Su Yan also frowned. There are too many of these void creatures, and they are all high-level void creatures. So many void creatures collided with his starship battleship, which also made his starship battleship tremble slightly. This star warship is also under a lot of pressure. Su Yan's heart was also a little shocked. He didn't expect that these void creatures were so tenacious that even if he attacked with the power of the stars, he would not be able to kill these void creatures. Damn, how can these void creatures be so tough? If this continues, it will take a long time to kill these void creatures. Su Yan cursed. Seeing this, Buying immediately ordered the gunfire on the ship to keep firing. Immediately, dozens of shells also bombarded those void creatures. However, just after the cannonballs fell into these void creatures, the cannonballs exploded one after another, and those void creatures were also screaming. Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.